everyone that's tuning in. Welcome to the Dream is in Your Hands Educational Youth Conference, dropping jewels on the next generation. My name is Art. We have a special edition. This one is very important for the youth. Today, I will be speaking with Kevin Harris from Los Angeles, California, about stopping the violence and protecting the community. Kevin Harris's son, Kevin Harris Jr., an up-and-coming hip-hop producer out of Los Angeles, California, who's worked with legends such as Ice Cube, was unfortunately murdered over a decade ago. And in 2021, Harris's case is still unsolved. CBS recently produced a powerful documentary on Harris's life, The 48 Hours Suspicion, The Ambush of Kevin Harris. I recommend you all tune into that. With a focus on the community, Kevin Harris Sr. will enlighten the youth today about the importance of coming together. How are you feeling, sir?
Fine, sir. My king, how are you? How are all my kings and queens out there?
We're doing good. We're doing good. How are
Absolutely.
you? I know that's a very important question to ask nowadays. How are you?
Well, maybe 11 years ago, that was a loaded question, so to speak, because I couldn't answer it how I felt. I wanted to be where my son was after that happened. You put all your energy and love that God has given you that gift and privilege to raise a king, to your seed, your first seed, to be a outstanding human being as far as helping the community and wanting to help the community and just trying to reach his goal and give his vision of music, so to speak, and his interpretation, and to be cowardly taken away. So I'm fine. I know that was a long answer, but I'm fine. But just to let you know, there's some OGs out there that you still need to gravitate you to, young folks. Okay, that's where it all comes from. Google don't answer all your questions. Okay, you need to have some on-the-job training, which is experience. Experience is a teacher. The first thing is respect for one another. Go ahead, my brother.
So we're here today to talk about unity within the young people, and as we witness with the George Floyd situation and all the young people across the world and different colors, different race, everyone coming together and protesting for a cause. So can you speak to a little bit about just how important is unity amongst the youth?
Well, again, we know that there is systematic racism in some police forces, maybe all, but all police officers aren't bad. Okay, let's keep that real right away. But for someone that was already subdued and apprehended to kneel on him that amount of time means that change. Thank God for that young lady with the phone camera that said all of that. He was a hero, regardless of what his lifestyle was, because they want to determine, some activists want to determine because of how he was or who he was or what his lifestyle was, that he deserved to die that way. So to see a unity of all races, creeds, and colors come together across the country, across the world, because they are having their own systematic, whether subliminal or not, it all touched home to everybody. So it was phenomenal, King, to let you know, to see everybody uniting. And that's the key word. Starts with God.
Yeah.
No matter how corny you think it is or not, people that are listening here, it's not, and it's never, because I'm living proof. I didn't want to live another day after my son, my Kevin, was taken away. So watch the documentary. We got other things. It's inspirational, and all the love that he's possessed and shared, just tremendous. So I'm very proud of him. But at this point here, justice for him, and speaking to you, the youth, we're counting on you. We're counting on you a lot, okay? We need our teachers. We need our social justice studies. We need you to go to historically Black colleges now. That's where the trend is now. And even if you're not of dark skin on this chat here, still go to a historically Black college if you're down with the cause. Okay, if you see what we see, and you have, because you're on the front line with us. I saw you, okay? So I could be on that, but I'm gonna let King go ahead and continue, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on how during that time, with the loss of your son, you didn't feel like you can go on anymore, and I feel like that's kind of a trend with the youth, right? There's so much going on in their life, and they don't feel like they can go on anymore. What was your
Good,
motivation to
good.
keep going?
My motivation was justice for him and how cowardly, despicable that was.
Mm.
More than likely, and I'll say to you, you young people, your friends are God and your mother and father. Okay. You can have the best friend, closest friend in the world, but as you see, friends are turning on friends in each other's in this world in this day and time. Relatives turn on each other. Okay. So know, let your parents know, no matter how much privilege they give you, no matter how much they trust your choice making, keep them in the loop. I trusted Kevin going to the studio every night to practice his craft. So little did I know, some people gravitate towards people that are about to be successful, and things happen, okay, out of nowhere. So just know that. Have that in your mind. First of all, God, respect, knowing who your friends are. Don't think your parents are square. Buck up to some uncles and aunts and grandmothers are my generations. I'm 60, y'all. Okay, if not for the gray hair, you might not even look 60. All right. And I run most of y'all. Okay. I'm still going. And I think God has made this cross to bear for me for a reason, to inspire and to talk to you and to let you know that we need you as leaders. This last gentleman that was in the office of the White House for the 4 years, I don't have to say a name,
Yes, sir.
incited the most hate I've seen being a black man or just anybody that I've ever seen since I've been on this earth. I know about we couldn't drink in the water fountains. I know about we couldn't go to the same bathrooms.
Mm.
But that mess about a certain color or privilege, okay, it's time. And I'll tell you what that was about. That was about closet people having these feelings that didn't like having Barack Obama in office for 8 years, person of color. So when he blew that flute, when that guy blew that flute, that last guy,
Mhm.
those people, just like a dog whistle. Only certain people can hear that whistle. That certain dog can hear that high pitch. Certain people heard that racism whistle. So it's time to unite. And above all, unite, get your education, get your finances together, know about credit, know what credit does.
Yeah.
You don't just get credit cards and just spend them up, okay? You know what credit is. And do what Nipsey was trying to tell you. Invest in your community, buy up properties. All this isn't corny. This right here is from Silver Lining of Hope, E. Winford Bell. Go online, look it up. He's in place there to educate as well in the LA area. In some areas in LA where I grew up, you can't even walk on certain streets with certain colors. And I know it's in all areas, some states.
Yeah.
And someone asks you what set you from. Why? I'm from the set of God Almighty. However, you still have the ignorant handful ones that will still take you out over asking you where you're from. Why? Why do we hate each other like that? And I'm talking about all colors when it comes to that. So, you people listening, yes, I'm putting a lot on your plate. Also, don't make a baby until you're ready to. Nurture your mind first before you try to nurture a child. Okay? Practice it. I'm not doing biology, but practice safe sex as well. I mean, I could go on for an hour with y'all. Y'all would be interested. I got stories, inspiration. We need this generation, you people listening, because you're the chosen few. I see it's 9 of you on here. I don't care what color you are. Get your education, but be there to show. We need mentors. Okay, so you could be a mentor at age 16 or 15 if you come across a young person. One of the last things, I don't know how much time I have, what you're listening to. Yes, I'm a music person. DJ Kevin's music's phenomenal. You will hear it. We will hear Track Bully. That's his producer name. Look up trackbully.net. It's just like how it sounds, TRACKBULLY.net, in conjunction to the documentary that he'll be sending to you. Just look it up. But just know I lost my train of thought. But just know, yeah, I'm full of inspiration, and we need you guys. We need you guys to pass the baton. Oh, the lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not speaking about any particular artist, but male and female both, please be cognizant of what you're saying and what you're showing to our youth, our younger youth, so they can differentiate what's right and what's wrong. Females, leave something to the imagination. You don't have to show, we as Black men and men in general, your bodies are copied by other races. We know what you have. Cover it up some. You don't have to show what you have all the time. Okay?
Mhm.
I lost Kevin in 2009. But in 2015, come over here. In 2015, God blessed me at age 55 years old with this strong king right here. He knows all about what happened to his son. Say hello, everybody, and tell them your name.
Hi, my name is Michael Harris.
What's
And
up, King? How you doing?
say how you doing. Say I'm fine, King.
I'm fine, King.
And I'm the next generation. Tell him I'm the next generation,
I'm the next generation.
and I do want to be president
I do want to be president.
and build and construct houses.
Just,
Construct houses. That's okay, baby.
construct
I just
houses.
wanted you guys to see this because this is my king, and God bless. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying is inspirational, and this is what keeps me going too. Kevin inside of him.
Yeah.
Okay. So say bye. I see y'all.
Bye. See y'all.
See, I, this is
So
so
I know
beautiful.
you.
This
Yeah, I know you
kinda-
wasn't. I know you wasn't expecting that, but yeah. Sabrina wants to say something. My wife.
Oh, no, I just want to see if you had any other questions, but I know it's more than 9 people on here. It's like hundreds across the country. So it's
Okay.
hundreds and hundreds.
Okay. Well, I saw 9.
No, that's
Okay,
something
I
else.
saw 9, but God bless you that are tuning in. I hope I've touched you. I hope you're adhering to what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
We had grandparents that we gravitated to. That's why we have the maturity that we have. You guys have social media. Again, some of the lyrics, some of the videos, some of the props of the videos that we see, the prop of choice is a 9mm.
Yeah.
Come on.
Which is a gun.
That just tells you. Go ahead.
Just to highlight more of
Back
what
on
you were
that.
saying.
Yeah.
Earlier, you touched on mentorship a little, but you said, kids or the youth, they look at their kids or their parents as squares. Like,
Right.
"Oh, my parents are squares." Like, and as you mentioned, they're growing up. Social media, these people on social media are their mentors. But how can the real mentors in their lives step up for
That
everyone?
was a good question because I already had a kind of a platform of that. You guys, trap music is just what it is. Your mind is trapped. Okay, I'm not disrespecting it. I'm old school Parliament, James Brown, which all that music evolved from anyway. But you don't hear any instruments anymore. Okay, so those old school tracks you hear at the barbecue,
Mhm.
that's what I'm listening to. But I also have Common, Kendrick, the ones that are saying something socially conscious. Okay, that's what you want to listen to, not bars that's maiming, destroying, exploiting. We don't want our young people seeing this. Now, I get this point. Okay, I respect everyone's own choices and wishes, but you don't have to reveal it to everybody. That's my only thing with how the FCC works on letting come out what comes out. Okay, so yeah, there was another point to your question I was going to make. Do you remember exactly because that was another point I was going to make.
Yeah, I was wondering how the adults, the mentors, the guidance in their life, the youth, how can they step up more instead of these social media apps raising their kids?
Oh, thank you. Old school music. And just to listen to the lyrics. Recently, we had a versus battle with most of you youngsters probably didn't, but your parents did. Earth, Wind, Fire, and Isley Brothers. Okay.
Yes.
Did you hear the lyrics to Harvest of the World and what it symbolized? Back in the 70s, Marvin Gaye, what's going on? What's that Earth, Wind, and Fire cut you said earlier?
The way of the world.
That's the way of the world, shining star.
Mhm.
It's the eclectic word that they're giving you guys rather than
WAP.
I didn't want to say it, but let me say this about WAP. I respect Cardi B. I respect Megan Thee Stallion, but I respect Cardi B's brain and social activism. She does have it inside of her. She does have sense, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but
They're calling it art.
sometimes when you allow the door to fly open to everything being accepted,
Yeah.
it kind of, so now the FCC finally wants to say, and I'm not saying finally to cut this young lady off from her revenue, but one thing, and I'm not going to say hypocritical, her offspring is not allowed to watch that video. There's a lot of offspring, young and old, that shouldn't be watching that video, actually, okay? Because it connotates something that goes beyond the intelligence that you're going to be using to get to where you need to get. Why you are the best in your class with your grades, and why you're going to continue to do that. So if you're going to mentor, to answer to his question,
yeah,
mentor with a purpose on what's it going to do with the community, for the community, and can we build it up and stop the violence. Now come on. People tell me I don't have anything else to do but try to inspire on this. But Kevin, that's a lost cause. You're never going to be able to do anything. Well, my baby's not here no more. So I don't hear never. That's why we were able to have a documentary, and you guys didn't know also Unsolved Mystery just did a podcast because they were touched by it. Okay. I was a little bit more emotional on that. Okay. Because just certain questions just hit you up. You never stop. So
can I ask you something about what you just said about, obviously the song, the Cardi B, the FCC, like, is it unhealthy for adults to censor their young people's, lives? Does that make it an unhealthy relationship?
Now I know you young. Well, we were censored, so to speak, in our age. And
my friend's father wouldn't let us listen to Eddie Murphy on the record player. This was back, before cassette tape. We had the Raw album. And so we were listening to it in the living room, and he came in and turned that off. Then we went in her bedroom, turned it on. He said, turn that off. So, and we appreciate it now. It's like when you're, 13, 14, 15 years old, you just don't have the same sensibility and maturity to understand. And some of it goes over your head anyway. But it's just a little bit too much too soon to be getting curious about, oh, well, what does that mean? What is this when I,
hey,
WAP?
Hey, y'all, that's my girl to my piece. Needed her own segment. She all up in my, y'all? What?
Censoring.
Of course, it makes sense, though. Of course, what she said. I'm just teasing my baby girl. So, but anyway, it's the reason I feel, and you guys listen to this. It's the reason I feel the FCC allows this content to get out, because they want us to bang heads together and to maybe follow the steps or the lyrics or the bars that these folks are given, instead of your Nas, your Common, your Kendrick. There's a lot. I always, like I said, anyone, Tribe, J. Cole, all these folks, okay, they're saying something. Okay, J. Cole had a track about his homeboy who lost his son.
Yeah.
And he said, look, I'm with you. I'll ride with you, whatever you want. He said, it's going to be all right. And then he says, no, it's not going to be all right. I understand whatever you need me to do, but that's not the way to answer it. Ignorance. Kevin was never in a fight. Kevin never gave me any trouble. All he was loved and talented and quiet and goofy, just like any other 20, 21-year-old growing up playing video games and whatever else you guys do. Okay, even though you guys are younger.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is trying to normalize it. We understand, but your parents, those are your mentors. Look up to them. Okay? Charles Barkley made a statement a while back. I'm not your mentor. I'm not an idol. I'm not a role model. In a kind of a way that was wrong for him to say that, because we understand that some brothers and sisters do look up to athletes as their idols. Okay? Not that they want them to over idol God, which is not an idol, but God and his parents. But at the same time, there is a sense of duty that you have. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he's right. Your parents are your mentors, and they should be, as well as you should be mentors to the next generation. So all I'm going to say is, you guys stay healthy out there. mind-wise, and you touched on something earlier about I didn't want to be around anymore after Kevin left. Would I kill myself?
Yeah.
No, you can't go to heaven. That's why I wanted to bring up teen suicide and the social media, how being bashed on social media and being picked on. You guys, I called you guys kings and queens when I first got on. Think of yourself that way. Think of yourself higher than that. No, yes, back in the day, they used to say sticks and stone can hurt my bone, but names will never hurt. People don't subscribe to that anymore. You can always walk away from a fight because nowadays, we used to put them up back in the day, be friends the next day. Now, cowardness. But then why are the guns so accessible as well? So why are the lyrics so accessible? Why are the guns so accessible? Okay.
Yeah.
I used to think, nah.
Can I ask just to bounce off of that, right? Because I always subscribe to the idea that art imitates life, not the other way around. So I guess to kind of add to your point, isn't that the responsibility of the adult and not the artist to kind of censor, what the person is consuming? Because the artists are just talking about their experiences, right? They're not telling you what they're out there doing. They're just telling you what they live and how.
Good point. And I thought about that earlier. That's because they are speaking on what they've lived and gone through.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Do we need to censor videos with 9mm as the prop? Yeah, we don't need to see that. We don't need to think of the anger of that. Second Amendment is what, you guys? Bear arms to protect yourself and your household and your goods, not to go out and hunt another person. True. Like game hunting. You somewhere out in the forest somewhere just shooting, because you want to, just because you don't like them.
Yeah.
Because their shine is bigger or brighter.
Mm-hmm.
A Christian is brighter, or over a girl, guys, over a girl. I'll say it again, over a girl. And you young females, don't be vicious, please. Don't take advantage of the outward that you have. Use the inward, both of them, inside and out.
Yeah.
Take advantage. Show love, you guys, but unity goes a long way. Okay. Now, I could say this to you guys and it can go in one ear and out the other, but I experienced the worst hurt in my life. My heart will never be mended from losing my son, my seed, my 6'3". And by the way, for you basketball guys or sports guy, he was wet with his lefty. Okay. Before Steph. I mean, I used to say he made that sound called, that's how it would sound when he hit that net. All right.
Wow.
Righty, but that's where his talent came from. He was ambidextrous, did move his feet on defense, gave up, focused all his energy on the piano and music class, sat on his bed and learned how to make beats. Okay. No engineering school. So you that are getting into the music industry and thinking about downloading your beats, just know the steps and just know the entities that could surround you and keep your parents in the loop. I don't care if you're 21, 22, 23. I know everything. I'll just ask Google or Siri. No, ask an OG because they've been through it before.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a God honest truth. If there was an emoji on the screen right now, it would say 100. That's why I kept it with you the whole time. All right.
So how do you feel about therapy? Because I know you wanted to touch on suicide, and I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand. I think a lot of the young people, they don't like the idea of therapy. But how do you feel about?
I don't blame you for not liking how the world is. I don't blame you. It's not nice, but we can make it nice. We can make it nicer. Believing in the one that we have to give us all the blessings. Count your blessings. Always tell him every day the blessings. So, answer to your question, it should never get that bad when somebody says something to you or your life is that bad that you want to kill yourself. There is somebody out there that you can reach out to for that. Don't think that there isn't, even if it's not in your circle or your environment, your parameter.
Yeah.
You should never get to that. If you're Christian, you won't go to heaven. Not a pastor, not a reverend, but you won't go to heaven. You just sit there. So all the people that have committed suicide, I pray for every day. And there's been a bunch. And I'm thinking just literally Believe in yourself and believe in that brain that you got in your head. That'll stop you from wanting to do it because you have a purpose. I have a purpose, something that was taken away from me. But look what I brought into the camera, another little angel. You know what I mean? And God did that for a purpose. He's saying, OG, I need you around. You have some things to do. Okay. Yeah, I gave you a cross to bear, but you've heard this one before, guys. He only gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Yes, sir.
So how strong are you? Are you going to help generations and beyond? We need you to. Don't just funnel your brain matter in your little self circle and bury your head in the sand, which I'm sure I got the feeling that most of you aren't going to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe after this talk we had, but just know your importance. Your importance is very, very much needed because I want to say this, the generation ahead of you, the millennials, we still want to reach them. That's where the suicide rate is most of the highest. We still want to reach them, but they're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
And Deion Sanders said in the interview, that generation right now is not listening to, remember that old saying, mama tell you not to do something, and you say, well, why? Because I said so.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays ain't listening to it because I said so. You literally got to put them in a headlock and say, hey, come over here, young buck. Come holler at me for a minute. What's wrong? But then again, some of them don't take constructive criticism either. They feel like you're disrespecting them. And what's the only way they know how to handle disrespect? Shooting you. So yeah, I'm not telling you to go into a blood or Crip neighborhood and say, hey, why don't y'all stop shooting each other? I'm not that silly, but go through the layers to say, hey, you know what? Whether it's social justice, political justice, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a politician, do something. Whether you just want to mentor, do something. Because you have the brain matter to do it. Just have the inspiration from God and for people like me and this king here to continue it. Don't just talk about it, be about it, please. Don't just let this go in one ear and out the other, okay? Because you have a man here that's hurt. Okay, I'm not sure right now, 11 years ago, Noah's gonna have to build an ark around me. That's how many tears I've cried 11 years ago, my baby. And I still do, but I use it more as inspiration, okay? And I want you guys to be strong. Brown, black, and white emojis like this and like this for blessings, okay? That's all I can say.
I like the words, do something. I think that's powerful, especially when it comes to community, right? So what are some things that the community could implement to help stray, the youth in the right directions?
Parent education, young adult parent education, young teenage sex education. Don't make babies when you're not ready. Boys and Girls Club, mentorships. You guys getting involved with mentorships, a couple hours a day, and get the baddest of the bad that can still be reached. Okay, but get into the household, see what the problem is. You know what I mean? I'm not telling you to be social workers, but they are valuable. They're invaluable social workers because they know everything about that household. You know what I mean? So, and you don't have to just be a social worker at all, but all those combined, just pick it out, look it up, just what fits your passion. Okay, whatever your passion is. If you're really interested in doing something for you, do something before you leave this earth. That's all I'm saying. Do something for your community. Do something. Say that you did something that touched the life of somebody else, like I feel I'm doing right now. Hopefully, because you see, I got the lines in the forehead, and that's my passion. Okay, because if I had to do it all over again, eye for eye, y'all. Because the first thing my father would say is, I'm going to go get that MFer that killed my baby.
Yeah.
In the story, they not going to live. Well, what's that proof?
Nothing.
Need me on the outside of incarceration. We got enough. And let me say this too. You're going to be not shocked at this, but it's kind of interesting. After 11 years, my heart kind of softens a little bit. Yes, I want justice, but at the same time, I used to say I want them to spend the same time his chronological life would have been had they not deemed it necessary to take it and put it in their own hand and take it away. But if they are apprehended, when they are apprehended, because we're close, I want to see like a mentorship for those folks from kids, like a Scared Straight, come in and talk to them about, and then show me remorse first of all, in the courtroom, but then show, like, don't go down this path. I was wrong for doing this. So, I mean, a lot of people would say, nah, I'm still gonna get them. I want them in the electric chair or whatever. Okay, I get that. But what does that do? Already the penal system is getting funded every time people of color go to jail, okay? And they do it on purpose with the guns and the lyrics. And I'm putting all this together, guys. It's like that domino game, not snapping bones, but lining them all up together and tapping the first one and they all fall. All this is hand in hand.
Wow.
We're not oblivious to this. When I say they, I don't have to say a certain race, okay? But people of color, not people of color that are listening to this, and you're for the cause of what I'm saying today, join in. If you have brothers that are your best friends, sisters that are your best friend, continue to do. Those reality shows, sorry, it means our culture, okay? I'm sorry. Beautiful women, okay. The way they behave, no, that's not entertainment. Even 48 Hours, which I was on. People look at that for entertainment. That wasn't entertainment to me, y'all. That was my son. What entertainment? But I get it.
Yeah,
It had some relevance for me to speak and what I'm doing today. And I hope for God that I'll have other opportunities as well to do so. But like I said, all I can do is just hope that it's sunk in that we need your grade point averages high.
Mm-hmm.
We need your respect high for yourselves, for your peers, for God Almighty, and thank Him every day. Don't pray to God. I mean to point at you. Don't pray to God for something in particular. Pray to Him to tell Him, thank you for the blessings that you have given me and what I have, even if I want more. And then that becomes greed. So check yourself. That greed can turn into hating on somebody else. So, not a psychologist, but it's easy. 1, 2, 3. Know who you're with. Know who you're sleeping with. And I don't mean sexually. I mean your friends. Okay? They have a way about them that, and this is the last one. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need new friends. You need to add on to them Legos. You need to add Legos even more. If you're the smartest person in the group, so that means y'all at the same level and y'all ain't going nowhere.
Wow.
You need to broaden your mind.
Yeah.
Say that you're gonna discard them, but maybe you might have to, especially if they're not on the same path you are. Ask them what are they gonna do for the community or the world. Leave this earth doing something.
Now we have a couple questions here. One of them from a student, and they want to know what is the best approach to get through to a friend who is going down the wrong path.
Well, again, I say some people think going to church is square.
Mm-hmm.
And even me, I'll tell you this. That question, I'm coming right back to it. When he passed away, I questioned him. How could you let that happen to this cat here? Him? The one that's not even, is most unassuming and harmless out of anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Answer to your question. Try to get him to go to church with you. Try to get him to pray with you. Try to reason with them. Try to do everything you possibly can up to the point of what you possibly can, which means you start infiltrating on their anger and their disdain and not wanting to hear that anymore. Then you have to back off. But don't do the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Christian, of course, do it. Or get them involved in something else that they might like that they never knew they liked. Some hobby or trade or program that you just know them that they might be good at. To not, and see, these young people, they go to these gangs because sometimes the parents aren't there. They need acceptance. Acceptance is either death or prison, and retaliation and the whole bit, and never stop. So in answer to your question, young person, don't give up on them. Hover over them, like with your mouse, hover over it. But at some point, you might have to delete. And what I mean by just kind of distance yourself. But if you love them, don't do all you can do to the very end of that. Not to where you vex them, where they get angry at you and want to fight or or whatever. You can only, some people don't take criticism too good, but make it positive, you know. But you have to be careful, young person, because your grade point average and your shine may be a jealousy of theirs as well. They may be rebelling from you. So be cognizant of it. Cognizant, be aware. And let your parents aware. This is my thing. You might want to involve your parents talking to theirs, but then again, you don't want to seem like you snitching. I get it. But with me, with my son, that was no gang thing. It's not snitching when it comes to telling, when it comes to justice on a wrong. Okay, that's a totally different thing. So yeah, don't give up on them. Think of something that they like to do that maybe they can get their mind on beyond that. Yeah. I know some of you guys probably smoke marijuana. Okay, I get it. You know what I mean? It's prescribed. But that's a privilege. That's something you do after you've gained something. For an older person, that's after you've worked or done something like that. Okay, but it's not when you graduate and play video games all day, and you take and putting one up in the air all day, and 5 o'clock you say, I need to look for a job. You can't look for a job at 5 o'clock. But I don't want y'all looking for jobs right now. I want y'all to go to school if you have the opportunity first. Don't get bogged down in that. We do that. Find a girl, get married, get together, have a baby. Boom. Now you're stuck into a 9 to 5. No. Get the best education you can to get the best job you have. Nothing's wrong with a 9 to 5. These calluses was from a 9 to 5. Okay. All right. But thank God he gave me somewhat of a silver spoon and a lot of motivation and love in my heart and blessings from my wife to my son to God. It's phenomenal. But I wasn't on board at first, y'all. I was wondering, where were you? How did you let that happen? But it wasn't him. It was the evil in him. So the devil, dump his ass off your shoulder. Even when you're thinking something bad about somebody, get up off of me. I'm going to think this way. Okay? That's where it starts. But don't give up on your friend, young person, young king or queen. Don't give up on them. Try to do what you can do without infiltrating their space too much where you piss them off. Okay? That's what I have to say about that. What was the next question?
Yeah. So just a couple wrapping up question.
Sure. I know. I told you I could go for 2 hours, y'all.
I'm enjoying the conversation, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
I think we all are enjoying the conversation. Just a couple wrapping up questions. So the dream is in your hands. We've been using that all throughout the conference. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
Well, I saw it on the flyer, my text, and it's pretty much what I've been saying for the last half hour, or however long we've been on the Zoom together. The dream matters and is important because we need you to be the generation that helps with all these issues of censorship, suicide, disrespect towards one another, black on black, brown on brown, all colors against each other, unity, investing in the community, building up the community, finding jobs equal, finding health, creating jobs, health, equal health for everybody. We know that some of the reason that we still have the gang stuff going on is because they don't have any jobs. They don't have nothing to do. And then you try to mention the Y, especially South Central, the Y could get sprayed, okay? If you try to, so literally you have to get to the OG like Jim Brown did, and I'll bring this up real quick. Jim Brown, back when gangs were slinging the rock, there was a turf war over slinging the rock and gangbangers. So it was horrible time in LA. Murders every day. However, Jim Brown brought each faction together to his house. Brother Jim, King Jim, had them cease fire. Okay. You guys don't have any
LeBron.
people to look up to other than LeBron, which is fine. I'm fine with this platform. But be your own. Be your own person that they look up to. Don't follow the crowd. Okay? Don't follow the crowd. So that's what I would mention there. The dream is for us to unite, respect each other, look out for one another, create wealth for one another.
Mm.
Hispanic community in California, LA, they're united most of the time. They pool their money together and get a big house and nice place and so forth. We need to do the same thing, not pull against each other. So the dream is all of those above, and that's my dream for you, and that should be your dream, to do something for others in your community and around the world. Okay, you have social media. You ain't got to walk nowhere. Da, 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 da. All y'all can upload and download like that with your head backwards, with your eyes closed. Use it to advantage. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we have for you today. We really want to thank you for closing us out. Just like this whole conference has been very educational for all of us. I know it's for the youth, but I myself have learned a lot. I'm sure a lot of people that are tuning in have all learned a lot. And just ending on this is it's inspiring to hear your story and hear your motivation of why you keep pushing forward. And what you're pouring back into the community. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Some parents, they can't do it because their heart has been ripped too much. They can't do it. But I've used it in another way, and I told other parents that lost their children, please help with this. Okay, so yeah, definitely, it's been my pleasure. Sorry if I went over time.
No,
Um,
perfect.
you guys,
Thank you.
you guys do what you need to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
everyone else that has been tuning in, thank you all for tuning in since yesterday. It's been a great conference. I hope you take all the information that's been spilled throughout the last.
One last thing, that chain that they used to see on kids that were bad and used to try to run away, and them little chains they put a little behind his back. I want the little leash. I want y'all to put that chain on the OG and get some knowledge. Again, Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Look it up. Listen to it. Listen to the words. I told him about Jim Brown already. Let's go. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You guys come back again next
thank
year.
you to all the participants for joining us from yesterday and today. Just thank you all so much for your time, your words.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Take care. Hope to talk to you again. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Everyone else that is tuning
Stay healthy, guys.
Yes.